Let's get ready to story! Tina. Don't shoo me away, Tina. My relationship with Tina has really deteriorated throughout the evening. Not as excited now, but here we go. Read it, Tina. I see. We'll talk in the trailer. Nancy Cummings. Nancy goes a little something like this. That's the B-side to the Little Mermaid. Once upon a time, there lived a reluctant accountant named Nancy Cummings who suffered from shyness and a lack of social skills. And then she taught us about this. That's all in French. She taught us about the Lincoln Memorial. National Memorial in Potomac Park, Washington, D.C., honoring the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. The marble, granite, and limestone building was styled after a classic Greek temple by the American architect Henry Delicious Bacon. His middle name's not Delicious, it's just that Bacon's really delicious. And I'm a vegetarian. Hey everybody, Ms. Cummings.
I once dated a man who, I just had one first date with a man who called me Mary all through the evening because he liked that name better, as he told me when I questioned him about it. And then just after that, I went on a first date with a man who would not allow me to roll down my car window because you won't like all that air. And then I went on a first date with a man who kissed someone else on our date before it was over. And then on a date, a pigeon pooped on my forehead and it ran down the front of me, grossing out my date so badly that he left me at a picnic. And so needless to say, as a late bloomer trying to develop social skills, I was a little perplexed by these dates. And I have to say that I've also dated some really lovely, nice men who are smart and funny and thoughtful and lovely and who never call again. And so I said to a friend, you know, I don't understand why people aren't calling me. And he said, well, you know, maybe you could be like a little more, you know, easy, breezy, beautiful, like the CoverGirl commercial. Just, you know, try that. Try not to be, like, high maintenance. And I thought, okay. So when my friend Garv called me and he said, hey, there's this new athletic trainer at work and he seems like a really cool guy and I don't know him real well, but can I give him your number? I said, okay. So a few nights later, Joe called and we had a lovely conversation on the phone. And as we were speaking, I was thinking, wow, this guy is really, really nice. And as we were sort of wrapping up our conversation and trying to decide what we'd do together, I figured we'd be doing the, well, you want to meet for a drink? You want to meet for, you know, one of those like sort of time crunch dates where if it's not great, you can just bail. And so, but instead he said, hey, you know, I really think I'd like to go ice skating. What do you think? You want to go? And I said, yeah. And I thought, wow, imagination, creativity, awesome. So the next Friday night, we met at the Icebox in Pittston. And after mutually breathing a sigh of relief that neither of us was an axe murderer, we put on our skates and got on the ice and just started wandering around wandering around on skates. So we were skating with other people in this public skate. And it was a really great thing because we had something to do besides that awkward conversation across the table of like, so what do you do? So what do you do? And it was really, really lovely. And as we were skating around, I realized that an awful lot of people knew Joe. And I said, hey, do you come here a lot? And he said, oh, no, actually, I came here last night because I wanted to make sure that I knew where everything was. And I thought, wow, planning, awesome. This is so cool. And so we're skating around, and eventually we take a little break, and we watch the Zamboni resurface the ice. And as we're getting back onto the ice, he takes my hand. And we start skating hand in hand, and eventually he's like doing spins and trying to teach me how to skate backwards, and we're having a great time. And as we keep going through the evening, the ice is getting like sort of gushy and gross, and the end of the night it's getting like bad, and we're not actually skating on the ice, we're skating through the ice. And as we're sort of wrapping things up, I fall for like the 100th time, and I'm wearing jeans. And so when you fall in a large puddle of slush, your jeans weigh about 50 pounds more than they did before, and with ice skates on your feet, it is nearly impossible to stand up. So Joe, the athletic trainer, is trying to help me up, and we're both laughing like idiots, and it's going really great, and that is when a 9-year-old boy skated into the back of my neck, flipping over my head onto the ice, driving my chin into my chest. And when I came back up, I saw stars and heard birds, and I thought that only happened in Bugs Bunny cartoons, but it really happens in real life. And so Joe gets me up off the ice and dusts me off, and we go off the ice, and he put an ice pack on my head, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm in really good hands because he's an athletic trainer, and he'll know what to do. Only Joe is not athletic trainer Joe. He is guy on the date that's supposed to go just right Joe, and he is panicked and really, really scared and really not knowing quite what to do. So we finally get to a point where I can walk like a human being, and we're leaving the place, and he says, hey, do you want to go? And I think, to the emergency room? And he says, to TGI Fridays? So in my head-injured state, I say, okay. And so we're going towards the parking lot, and he says, hey, oh, I'm sorry, we both have a car, so I live right near TGI Fridays, so you should probably drive your own. And so I drove on the wings of angels to TGI Fridays, and we sat down, and like any good athletic trainer knows that it's good to add alcohol to a head injury, he said, hey, it's a margarita special, you want one? And my head-injured self said, okay. And then, we were having a good time, and the waitress brought me more ice, which was really nice of her, and we're sitting there, and we sort of wrapped the evening up, and we got the check, and he said, hey, your half is $19, and my head-injured self said, okay. And then we went out to the car, and, I'm still having a good time, but my head's killing me, and I'm thinking, I really need to go someplace where people can help me, but I can't remember where that is. And he leans over and he says, hey, can I kiss you? And my head-injured self says, okay. So he very gingerly kisses me and puts me in the car, and I'm so deliriously happy, and my head is killing me. And again, I drove up the turnpike on the wings of angels to the building where I live, where, thank God, so did medical professionals, and they took care of me. And as I'm lying on the couch and I have a pack of peas on my back, or on the back of my neck, I'm laying there, and I got really sad, and I thought, oh crap, even this date where I tried so hard to be easy breezy beautiful, even this one went in the toilet. But human decency and kindness are a really wonderful thing, and I will tell you that the secret to getting someone to call you again is to sustain a concussion on a date. Because the next day, when Joe called to check on me, when we were finished talking, he said, hey, so do you want to do this again? And my head-injured self said, okay. Thank you.
I liked it because that's the first story where somebody genuinely expressed delight at a Zamboni machine.